Hey guys, what is going on? So I wanted to talk about aligning your bulking and cutting cycles with the seasons so that you can take the most advantage of the opportunity that we have now, which is largely just improved sleep quality. So this is something that we get when the days become longer, which is something that we're really starting to see now during this time of year. And as the temperatures drop as well, these are both things that give a much better environment for sleeping, and sleeping is going to be like the most anabolic thing that you can do. And I think this is really a time to take advantage of that when ramping up your calories. Okay, so first of all, we have the longer nights in general, right? So the sun is going to set earlier. This might signal to your body that it's time to go to bed earlier, which hopefully you're doing. And that allows you to get more time in bed. Plus, if the sun is rising later, it might not disturb you when you're sleeping, depending on when you actually wake up. Obviously, this varies from person to person. What I've noticed for myself, and I've talked to other people as well, is that during this time period, we really tend to want to sleep in a lot more. We get much better sleep, higher quality sleep, longer duration, everything like that. So if we're getting that, plus we have the drop in temperature, which tends to be very favorable for people when they're trying to sleep. A lot of data suggests that the lower sleep temperatures are more beneficial to getting better quality sleep. So if we combine that, I tend to be somebody who runs hot when I sleep. So I get poor sleep in the summer, good sleep in the winter. So if we can take that better sleep temperature as well as the improved time that we have in bed with the longer time periods that the sun is down, we can really max out our sleep. If we're doing this in conjunction with good training, which we should always be doing, right? But hopefully, especially when you're bulking, especially when you're getting good sleep, you're really dialing in your training, we can kind of complete this holy trinity of gains here by being in a surplus. And take it one step further, if we decide that we want to bulk and have these maxed out gains during this time period, it's probably best that we actually start our bulk earlier in the year. So for example, I started my bulk in June. That's probably a little early for most people, but you might want to start in like August or something like that. So as you're ramping up calories, you can eventually get to a higher body fat percentage where you're going to be eating the most calories, highest body fat percentage, which allows you to be more anabolic. You're getting the training in, you're getting the sleeping in. So when you hit this time of year, potentially November, December, January, kind of in that range where we get, the coldest months, the longest, times of the year, we can really take full advantage of maxing out our gains during this time period. So that's really kind of the main thing that I wanted to emphasize there. On the flip side, when we talk about our cutting cycles, a lot of people, maybe it starts to become springtime. They're like, oh, I need to shed some weight. Well, the reality is that it's going to take you a while to actually get lean if you've been bulking for this whole time. And so people tend to really start their cuts a little bit later, and that kind of prolongs how long they're in a deficit, which might push them into the summer, and they might not, again, start their bulk until much later in the year around this time, which I think is a big mistake that people make, is as opposed to starting your bulking around this time, take it back 2-3 months, have that longer duration where you can bulk. And then as we, round the corner, February, March, then you can start your cut in that time period. Then you're going to have a couple months. And by the time we start getting into May and June and you want to be lean for that time period, it's going to make the most sense when you have the spring fever, when you want to ramp up your cardio by potentially going outside, doing activities. Maybe your appetite is down. When we have those warmer temperatures, it's really going to align very well to actually align these things with our bulking and cutting cycles. Okay, so the one I really wanted to emphasize is that bulking cycle, because that's really when you're, making progress, making gains, putting on tissue. And if you can align your sleep, calories, and training all come together and have the maximum gains, that's what this is all about. So obviously cutting, however lean you want to get. Do you want to be lean for, a vacation, or do you want to be lean around summertime or whatever that is? That's more of a personal thing. You can cut whenever you want, but I think it is natural to want to get more exercise, be outside more, have a lower, appetite during the summer months. So I think it makes sense to plan ahead for that. But if we can really kind of come into a period where we're hitting our stride during these colder months, as it's starting to get colder, as we can improve upon our sleep quality, and, you know, really getting that period where we're actually noticing that our sleep is getting better, as opposed to that just being the norm, you know, once you get deeper into the winter. I think that's something that people don't necessarily look at from that perspective, but you can really, really maximize your growth. And one thing that I've noticed for myself over the past couple bulks, so I'm, you know, entering this now third bulk here, where I've really had a period where I've had really good gains during this time period. Right around November, December, January. The last 2 bulks, those were my most productive times of putting on tissue, putting on size, and it was really, really accelerated during those months. And so now that I'm getting into it again, I'm starting to notice the same trend of improved sleep quality. Obviously, the temperatures are going to drop every year, so you're getting that benefit as well. And if we can be in a bulk during that time period, and I'm really hoping that I can start to accelerate my gains as this is happening, as I've noticed that my sleep has gone up dramatically in terms of duration, quality, everything like that. So just something to think about. Again, you can do your cut however you want. I'm not really somebody who advises people to cut, but I'm somebody who does it. I understand that other people want to do it. But if we really want to maximize our gains, I think aligning our bulks and really just kind of looking at these months as being the most anabolic ones you can possibly have, and, you know, it makes the most sense to not only be bulking during this time period, but hopefully be deeper in your bulk so you can really have more calories, higher body fat percentage to really, you know, maximize your efforts in the gym and maximize the sleep that you're getting and really kind of grow during that time period. I think that makes a lot of sense. So if it's not something you've tried, if you're not bulking this very second, you better start. And if you are already bulking, keep that in the back of your mind to realize that you could potentially be getting much better sleep if you really dial things in and you can really kind of accelerate your growth during this time period. So hopefully that helps some people. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated and I'll talk to you soon.